Hey guys, welcome back to 234 En La Casa. So I'm going to be making pumpkin bread for you all today. It's a recipe that my mother had, and she used to make this specifically for my papa, her dad. He loved her pumpkin bread, and she would put her pumpkin bread batter in old metal coffee cans and bake them in the oven, and so they would come out round. I remember as a kid, I always wanted the top part of it. It was real lumpy at the top, and there would be walnuts in it and all that. It was wonderful. I put mine in a loaf pan, so mine is going to be in a rectangular shape, but you can do yours in any kind of pan that you would like to. So if you do use old coffee metal cans that you want to bake in, you can do this recipe that way, or you can just use two 9x5-inch loaf pans for this pumpkin bread recipe. This is very nostalgic for me and very sentimental. I grew up, like I said, eating pumpkin bread, and it was my papa's favorite, so this is a special recipe. Mine deviates a little bit from my mom, so it's not her recipe, but it's I've kind of, modified it and switched it around to meet the taste buds here in this household, okay? So I invite you all to come on over, and I'll show you all of the ingredients and get ready baking this absolutely wonderful pumpkin bread. It's great to have in the fall, but we eat it year-round. So I'm going to share this with you all. I'll bring you all over in just a second, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all over here in a second. All right, guys, so you're going to want to make sure that you have your oven preheated at 350 degrees if you're going to do conventional. I'm going to convect bake. My oven gets a little hot, so I'm gonna have mine at 340. I may adjust it up to 350. I just don't quite know yet. And so just go ahead and make sure you have your oven preheated at 350. And then you're gonna want to go ahead and flour and butter two 9x5-inch loaf pans. They can be metal or glass. I used flour and shortening. You can use flour and butter. It's just whatever you prefer to use to get to flour your surface. I don't want to use non-stick cooking spray or the baking spray for this particular recipe because it's pumpkin bread and it's already going to be a little bit, kind of a little bit dark. And so if I do the spray, it tends to make your cakes and breads and things even darker. So I'm just going to use flour and butter, but mine is flour and shortening. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. And for this recipe, you're going to want to sift together your dry ingredients and place it in a separate bowl. So in this bowl is going to be 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm using White Lily. And then 2 teaspoons of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and half a teaspoon of ground cloves and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And I've sifted all of that together in this bowl, and we're gonna set this aside to add to our wet ingredients. All right, and then we're gonna be using pumpkin, canned pumpkin. I'm using the Great Value, at least in where I am here stateside. The Great Value is one of the cheaper brands. So I have a 29-ounce can of Great Value 100% pure pumpkin, and we're going to use a little more than half a can of this pureed pumpkin. Okay. All right, so I've got the can open, and here it is. And so we're just going to spoon out about a little over half a can of this. You can double this recipe, and that will give you 4 loaves of pumpkin bread, or you can reduce this recipe and cut it in half, the recipe that I'm doing, so you can just do 1 loaf of pumpkin bread if that's what you would like to do. Okay, so then we'll put that's about how much is left, if you can kind of see. Okay. And this is going to be about 2 cups of pumpkin. All right, and then to this, we're going to add 3 cups of granulated sugar. We're going to add 1 cup of oil, and this is vegetable oil. If you would like to substitute this vegetable oil with another kind of oil that you enjoy, be my guest. I don't quite know how it will turn out because I've never used anything other than the vegetable oil for this particular recipe, or canola oil, and canola oil works fine. But if you would like to try something different, you can try it, okay? And then we're gonna add 1 cup of water. And we're also going to add 4 room temperature large eggs, okay? I'm going to use this paddle attachment for mixing these ingredients. You can also use a hand mixer for this pumpkin bread. You do not have to use a stand mixer. And we'll start off mixing this on a low speed. Since it's got all that liquid in there, the oil, the water, and then the eggs, we don't want it to splash everywhere, okay? Now I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit. And now we're speeding it up just a little bit more so we can break those eggs apart. Okay, and now I'm gonna stop the mixer and I'm gonna be sure to scrape underneath to make sure we got all that sugar and everything at the bottom. Have it combined into the batter. So we're scraping underneath just to check the sugar and everything. And it feels as though it has dissolved. Okay, so I'm gonna give it one more mix. Okay, and then to this, we're gonna add our dry ingredients. And it's a gradual adding. You're not gonna wanna put it all in at one time, but just make sure that your flour and everything is sifted, okay? You don't wanna put it in here and it's not sifted. Okay, so we've got that added. I'm gonna go ahead and scrape these sides. Okay, and then we're gonna start mixing again. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add some more of the dry ingredients. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and add all of it. Okay, all right, and then we're gonna start mixing again on a low speed and then gradually increase the speed. Okay, so I've got this mixed together. I'm gonna go ahead and stop my mixer and lower this down some so we can scrape the side because there's some flour on the sides over there and on the paddle attachment. So go ahead and get that scraped. And I'm gonna lift this back up and start mixing again. But we're gonna want to, just go underneath your paddle attachment to the bottom of your bowl to make sure that all your dry ingredients have been combined into the pumpkin bread batter. All right, so we're gonna lift this back up and start the mixer again on a low setting and then gradually increase, okay? Okay, so this is all well combined. I'm gonna go ahead and lower the mixing bowl and we will get these added evenly between the two 9x5 inch baking loaf pans. Right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this pumpkin bread batter evenly distributed into our loaf pans. And if you have a scale, you can use a scale as well to make sure that your batter is evenly distributed. I just eyeball mine. But if you have a scale, that's a good way to make sure it's evenly distributed. Okay, so I've got all that dough added to these two loaf pans. I'm gonna tap this just like two or three times. Just wanna make sure there's no air bubbles or anything. And so we're gonna get these placed in the oven at 350 degrees for 60 to 70 minutes, okay? And just make sure that you use a toothpick to check when you think it's done. And I'll bring you all back once these pumpkin bread loaves are out of the oven. Guys, so the pumpkin bread is ready. It's been in the oven for about 45 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it out. And of course, like I said, mine was on convection. So when you do convection, the baking time is gonna be shorter than doing conventional. So with the conventional oven, you'll wanna have your bread in there for about 60 to 70 minutes. I did convect, my oven gets kind of hot. And so I had it at 345 and it took about 45 minutes for it to get done. And there it is. And so we're gonna leave these. We'll leave these sitting in the pan for about 15 minutes to cool and then we'll take them out. All right, y'all, so this pumpkin bread is cooled off. It is ready. So I'm gonna grab some foil and hopefully y'all can see it here. I'll bring it closer too. I'm gonna bring some foil and get these taken out of the loaf pans. The whole house smells so good. That's one good thing. Well, several good things about this pumpkin bread, but that's the one, I guess of your olfactory system that you can smell. That's the good thing about this pumpkin bread is how good it smells. So let me grab some foil. Okay, so I've got a piece of foil and you're gonna wanna wrap these individually in a piece of foil, okay? So not together, but singularly one by one. Okay, so I'm getting ready to flip this onto the foil. And I'm gonna flip it over, okay? Because I want the top of it to show. Some people like the bottom to show. I like for my top to show. So there you go. There's one. And then what you're gonna do is allow it to cool outside of the pan for maybe about 10-20 minutes or so, and then you can go ahead and wrap it up, or you can go ahead and wrap it up immediately, okay? When you wrap it up immediately, like what I'll do sometimes, because it's crispy on the ends and I like the crispy ends, it'll stay that way. Like when you first get out of the oven and everything, if you want to go ahead and cut a slice or what have you. But once you wrap it up, the ends and edges and stuff, they will get soft. They won't be crispy anymore. So if you like them to be soft, then I would go ahead and wrap it all, wrap it up in the foil and seal it up, and then let it sit and come back 30 minutes later and it'll be soft and nice and moist. It's just whatever you prefer to do, okay? All right, and so then I'm gonna go ahead and cut a slice of this so you all can see me taste it on camera, and then yeah, that's what I'll do. I was trying to think what I was gonna do. That's what I'll do right now, is get it plated up and take a taste of it. Okay, here we go. And then I'm gonna cut this one. And I do not put nuts in mine. If you want to put nuts in yours, just put it after you've mixed your batter and everything. Then you're gonna fold in your walnuts or your pecans. Most people enjoy, my mom would put walnuts in hers. So you'll just want to add your walnuts or whatever after you've mixed your batter together, okay? Oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. I'm gonna bring this close. Look at that. Let me see that. It is so moist. It has a wonderful crumb. This is the best. The best. And it is excellent with like butter on it, or like I said, nuts too. My kids don't like nuts, so then I don't add them. But it is so good with black walnuts. Oh my God, it is so good. I'm gonna take one more bite on camera for y'all. This is excellent. So this is a wonderful recipe. I suggest everybody try it. It's so moist, full of pumpkin flavor. It is the best. I mean, it's just good. It's just good. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I will see you all next time here at 234 En La Casa. You all enjoy. Hopefully it's beautiful, sunny weather wherever you are. But even in the rain, that's beautiful weather too, or the snow or what have you. Everything's beautiful, isn't it? I have a date with my little dog buddy in a few minutes. I've been promising my dog I was going to take him on a walk all day long. So I have a date with my dog. So I've got to take him on a walk really quick. Go on a 45-minute walk or an hour walk or something like that. So I got to get busy doing that. I did make that promise, and I want to make sure I fulfill my promise to him. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Thank you so much. Y'all are beautiful. Take care. Peace, prosperity, and lots of abundance. Sending love to you all. I'll see you next time, okay? Bye.